Welcome back to Anvilquested, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and in this appendix episode, we are going to look at some of the historical figures who have interacted with our fortress, as well as, I believe, I'm going to take a look at all of our dwarves, not as in profiles, but to show you where everybody is allocated, what their positions are, because I know a few of you have wondered if you're in the fortress or not, and this will be a good way just to show everybody what everyone's doing. But here is Anvilquested, and we have been involved in 4 sieges. The Ferocious Sieges, the Assault of Cuts, the Splattered Onslaught, and the Onslaught of Roars. I could have sworn it was more than that, but I could be mistaken. We currently have 200 dwarves in our fortress, and 47 turkey outcasts, 36 dog outcasts. I'm not going to read them all, but we'd also have 6 wagon outcasts and 11 dwarf outcasts, which I believe refers to the merchants who were in the fortress when I was exporting this data. So we've been involved in 7 beast attacks. Most of them have been forgotten beasts, but this one right here in 157 was a rampage by a werelizard, and I could not find this werelizard anywhere. So finally I was able to, I believe, track him down utilizing just names and guessing, because if you actually look at the information, it tells you nothing. But I believe it is Getak Pregnant Plate. The reason why is I know the name of the werelizard was Getak, and out of all the living Getaks, only one of them has been cursed as a werebeast, and only one of them is an enemy of our civilization. So Getak is a male human born in 55. He wanted to find immortality, he profaned against his god, and he became cursed to wander the world as a werelizard. He's currently living in Raced Cavern, which is really, really far away from Anvilquested. Anvilquested's up here, Raced Cavern down here. So he's really closer to all the rest of our civilization, and I cannot imagine how just in the time span of a full moon he could make it all the way to our fortress, but so he did, apparently. He has great situational awareness, and he's pretty good at military-ish skills. He only has 3 kills, though, so he's a very poor werelizard indeed. A dwarf, a goblin, and a human walk into a bar. But no, he's killed all of them. But it's funny, he's been in 14 rampages, only killed 3 people, but according to this, as of 149, he basically just disappeared, which we all know is not true, because in 167, he rampaged at Anvilquested. But apparently, since he didn't kill anybody, and because he did not die himself, I actually let him go when he turned back into a human. I was going to pit him, actually, but he just wandered off and went around touring our fortress and then left. And my dwarves were cool with it. He was listed as friendly. And the way I look at it, you know what? He's not an enemy. He's just a poor human friend with a disease. And we need to be respectful of his disease. And so we let him go. And he is now currently wandering the world and will probably kill a lot more people. But there you go. So the next thing that people wanted to know about is they wanted to know about the dwarf. The dwarf who was leading the goblins who attacked us. So in the Onslaught of Roars, the goblin attack was led by the dwarf Uzbu Witchhalls. Uzbu is a female dwarf, actually, born in 74, and she died in 157 by the dwarf Catnip in the Onslaught of Roars as part of the Scraped Conflict. She's a female farmer. Her goal is to maintain entity status. I don't even know what that means. Maybe she just wants to be somebody. You know, she came to LA and now she wants to be a star. She has a mother and a father. She is a member of the Wraith of Sabers, a member of the Deceiver of Bases of the Wraith of Sabers, and a member of the Hatred of Peaking of the Wraith of Sabers. She's really good at spinning and dyeing and shearing, and she's competent with a mace. Novice at dodging. So you can see why it's so easy for us to kill these people, because compared to our dwarves, her skills are a bit lacking. She's only actually killed 1 goblin, which she murdered it, so it wasn't in battle, and good for her. So she settled in Thief Pants. Thief Pants. She became an unknown job in Thief Pants. Oh, glorious day when Toady decides to actually fix the XML export and make it so that all this stuff can actually be exported, so it doesn't have to say unknown job. It'll actually say became a planter or a, I don't know, underwater basket weaver, whatever it is these people do. But in 108, she murdered the goblin Snodub Hategill, and then apparently she did nothing else notable until she attacked our fortress and was killed. So that's interesting. Obviously she didn't settle in Thief Pants of her own free will. She must have been kidnapped as a child, but it doesn't say anything about that. The leader of Thief Pants is Snamaz Murky Seduce, so maybe he murkily seduced her into joining them. Regardless, he murkily seduced her to her death. So that was a shame. It's a shame to see a dwarf go and, you know, just go against their own people like that. Let's take a look at the world here. I just want to... We're currently in 157. Is that where we are, though? Yes. So, as we saw in the last time we looked at this, the Bridal Evils has detracted quite a bit. Detracted? Marcus. Has contracted quite a bit to this little area here. My civilization is doing okay, but as the dwarf representative told us, the outpost liaison, not much is going on in the world. So apparently, not much has changed in our civilization. Anvilquested is doing okay. And that's really all there is to say. Again, the world is not really changing all that much. So let's move on to part 2 of this segment, which is looking at our dwarves. So we're just going to start at the top, alphabetically by job. We currently have 190 dwarves due to deaths and 8 children. So the number 199 and 200, well, I never really thought about this, actually, but this video is going to be airing before 2 other videos where stuff happens. So you are going to kind of know our 2 deaths. Huh. Well, not much I can do about that. So, anyway, let's look at our animalists. We have 5 currently. Lizard of Oz, Sleeves, Dr. Quacksalver, Raven, and K54. Now, our animalists, of course, are the ones that take care of all our animals. They feed them, they shear them, they milk them, they butcher them, they tan the leather that they get from them, they milk them, etc. We have 1 armor/weaponsmith, and that is Marcus Aurelius. We have an armorsmith, which is Infinite. Infinite had a mood and became an amazing armorsmith, so we put him to work on that. As you recall, all of our military dwarves are named after their name so that we know who's doing what in combat. So there's Arvalorn, Carp Killer, Atlas, Bavette Argon. We have Crom the Historian, who is our blacksmith. A blacksmith is basically a metalworker who does big things, furniture, statues, stuff of that nature. Black Tweedy, Blunderbuss. We have Captain Communism, who is our bone crafter. Tokshin, who is our broker bookkeeper. Bromine Gear and Bronzebeard and Bumchase and Cameron, all in the military. Our carpenter is Dikiasune. And there's Catnip. Our clothiers are Fyodor and Blekto Bagum. We have 3 doctors. None of them have actually ever had to do anything. And that's Byzantine, Krager Kveldcharn, and Dagural. Krager Kveldcharn is the chief medical dwarf. Dopey, Dr. Congo are in the military. Our Duchess is Bruenor Battlehammer. Dwarf Comic is in the military. We have 6 engravers currently. Ray Joseph, Zygomantus II Augustus, Yatahali, Urist McCado, the Etruscan, wife of Balder. Buros is in the military. Food service is a big deal because not only now are they cooks and brewers, but they're also managing our pigtail farms, our giant pigtail farms, spinning thread and stuff out of that. So we have Camos II, Lazy Git, Lilu Multipass, Sundew, Queen of Wolves, Thorin, Azrael II, Matheos, Katarina von Ulm II, Sir Falconlord, Zon McLean, Dave Dog, Kogius, and Mina Moonheart II. Then we have Fruitcake, is in the military. Our Gemsetter is Morin, Good Bad Dwarf, Gordosh, Gotrek Gurnison, Gustav, Hammurabi, Hank Luke, Haunter, Hawat Redlips, Hyuga, Elena Starbreeze, Elena Blades are all in the military. Our jeweler is Mikus. Now, Mikus cuts the gems, and then Morin engraves them onto finished goods that raise the value of our finished goods that we trade with other nations. Lady Awesomeness is in the military. Surreal Beliefs is our leader, or mayor. Das 24680 is our leather worker. Then in the military we have Leonard Yeldra, Lucia Silveraxe, and our mason is Ursula. Ursula does all of our big things like furniture, chairs out of stone. Grumzub is our metal crafter. He makes lead crafts currently to poison all the peoples outside of Anvilquested, but also I'm going to get him into start making Maybe some lay pewter crafts. Maybe even iron crafts, since we have such a glut of iron. Maybe silver. Who knows? Grumzub, the future is wide open. We currently have 10 miners. Akiasta, Stephanos, Torgar Hammerstriker, Ara, Edmus, Polat, JC Destroyer, Garnier Redsword, Leverquin, and Artgyle. Narian Wolf is in the military. We have 2 nurses. If you recall, their job is to basically do nothing but rescue the wounded and feed prisoners, feed the wounded. So really, they just kind of hang out because we haven't had much in the way of wounded lately, and that's Fango Wolf and Tinfoil Cookies. Orthea, Oscar Benitez, Percival II are all in the military. Planter is Zolban. That's wrong. We should not have planters. He's actually going to be an unassigned. Sorry, Zolban. What happens typically is when a child grows up to be an adult, they're given a title, and it's usually planter. Since, as a child, since they don't do work, the only job they do is they occasionally harvest crops. So, Ronan Copperblade, Steingrim, they're both in the military. Yosarian is our stone crafter. He's been constantly making crafts out of many kinds of stone, which is the basis of Anvilquested's income. Tection's in the military, Throsil's in the military. Tim Tebow's in the military, Tyrion Lannister's in the military, and then we have unassigned. Unfortunately, it mixes the people that I've named with the people that I have not, so we're just going to have to deal with that. Grumdrel Brandhammer, Liquidor, Blue, Adrian, Urus McWinfield, Puggles, Tolmac, Malinor, Panda Bear, Kingtip, Rex, Commissar Lochlenv, Daramos, Maik the Liar, Lord Wolfman, Dreamslayer, Delta, Dr. Bacon, Raw Weirdness, Madam Tentaclehammer, Sir Red Wolf, Mason, Silverhaze II, Samsi Cacrionis, Nordal, Ash, Young Guan Yu, Crazy Man, House the Third, Maragas, Crow Guy II, Makovar with an O, Mr. Frodo, Nidaros, Cabuis II, Bry 7 Cubed, Gerai II, Walder the Old, Thelron, Donnerfaust, Bloodrune II, Jan, Crackshot, Romulus, Kurgan, Alpha Blades, Ibracor, Juno, Bullzome Thornso. Did I do that wrong? That's supposed to be Thorn's son. Balarin, Dr. Clinical, Atlu Multipass, that's the child. Young Guan Infinite, another child. Monkey Mark Mario, Callisto, Phasael, Bucephalus, Gabdora, Urist Silverharp, P Doggy 14, Lady Atty, Thornton, and Patty Light. Those are our unassigned, and if you recall, unassigned basically do everything. They smelt, they haul, they push minecarts, they flip levers, they feed the wounded and prisoners, they harvest plants, they gather herbs. They are all masons, so they all build walls, and our Great Tower of Anvilquested was the product of our unassigned corps. They make lye if necessary and potash. They burn wood. They spin and weave. They are our architects and our mechanics, as well as that. And they do a lot of the cleaning in the fortress. So the vast majority of our dwarves, both named and otherwise, are in the unassigned field. They are absolutely necessary for the smooth running of the fortress, because without them, nothing would ever get done. And they are all wonderful, wonderful people. Moving on, we finally have Vika, Zax, and Yeens Beans, who are all in the military. Our weaponsmith is Barry Lefreak, because he apparently had a mood at some point and became an excellent weaponsmith. And our woodcutter is the Fun Dwarf. So that is all 200 roughly dwarves at Anvilquested, or at least the named 173 of them, and what they're doing. If you are very perceptive, you will probably see who's missing from this, and as a result, you will be able to determine in the next 2 episodes who might disappear, who might fall in battle. So don't try too hard though, because let it be a surprise. What else? What else would be interested in? Let's look at the map just kind of in general. Can we do that? Yeah, we can. Okay. So let's toggle. Alright, so these are the civilizations and how they interact. Despite the fact that the Elven civilization based here has conquered many places near Anvilquested, they have not yet found a reason to trade with us. Our biggest trading partners are these guys right here, this human civilization up in the north, and of course our home civilization, which tells me that once Anvilquested is finished, I'm probably going to adventure mode and play as a human from this civilization so that we can quickly and easily go to Anvilquested and hang out. I'm not going to, I mean, the fortress may fall, who knows, but if it doesn't, I'm just going to peacefully retire it so that we can indeed visit it. In fact, my plan is, at this point, my plan is, we're in the year 157, my plan is to make it to 10 years, so 160, and then retire the fortress at that point. I'm sure between now and 160 there'll be a whole lot of other attacks, and by the time we get to 160, it's probably going to get a little tiresome, and the FPS will probably drop to really low levels. So that's my current plan, is to retire the fortress at 160, and then save this world, and then at some point in the future, might be right away, might be later, come back as an adventurer in adventure mode and go and visit the fortress. So I hope everybody thinks that's a cool thing. Once again, I am Marcus Aurelius. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.